This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand.
As he kicks, he'll look for the 1-2. Hand pass from Wilson back to Oxley. He releases towards goal, and it is true.
Kimber with a kick in forward. Now it's a one-on-one, and leading out, taking a great mark is Blake. Here comes Blake. From forward and straight front, straight through the middle.
Well, are we set and ready to go? A riveting clash on our hands today. We'll see the tussle of the league's two top titans in the Fairhaven Homes match of the round. The pair of sides are 8-0 and we are set for a blockbuster. Proudly supported by Totally Workwear with a freshly opened store in Pakenham and remaining stores in Traralgon, Warragul and Wonthaggi. Planning and preparation for this week must have been immense for these two sovereigns of the competition, but there can only be one winner. Special thanks to Kyle Pove for organising the broadcast and George Malekis, who will be wielding the camera. Bailey Allen on standby. Welcome, Bailey. What are you seeing for today?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, and to be honest with you, anything less than Game of the Year would probably be a disappointment. It's one of the better matchups we've seen in recent years. As you said, both sides coming into the match day undefeated, 1 versus 2. But just based on percentage, you feel like you'd probably go with Tooradin, but the Bulldogs, of course, won back-to-back flags in 2018, 2019, and even claimed the minor premiership before the cancellation of the season last year. So really even split here today.
Now, just before proceedings are underway, a special happy birthday to Nicholas Bethune. It's his 17th, a son of a legend. So make sure to have a good day, Nicholas. I know you're listening out there. But as we return to the game, 8-0 as I mentioned, and both sides, well, last week, Tooradin, they beat Bunyip by 58 points. Leading goal kickers were Brad Butler, who kicked 3, and then 4 multiple goal kickers and a few chipping in with 1 as well. They were actually trailing that game at quarter time, and then they prevented Bunyip from kicking more than 4 goals for the rest of the game. As for Phillip Island, last week, 101-68 over Narnagoon. Cam Pedersen, of course, kicking 3, and he has been the main target up forward.
Well, we all know him. Cam Pedersen, came down for local footy after playing a pretty impressive AFL career with the Roos and the Ds. He had a long stint in the AFL, and he even kicked a game sealer in 2017 against the Lions in round 22. So he's most certainly one of the more reliable players for Phillip Island.
Yeah, back-to-back league best and fairest winner. But there's AFL talent everywhere. For Tooradin, we were here a couple of weeks ago. Brent McCaffer, of course, on board, 77 games for Collingwood. And an ex-Pie teammate of his, Adam Oxley, who kicked an unbelievable goal from 50 metres out in an impressive win against Inverloch just a couple of weeks ago. So he played 33 games for Collingwood. But there's plenty of VFL talent as well, which I'm sure we will see when the game is underway, which shouldn't be too far away.
So, just continue on with the VFL that you mentioned there. Pivot Wright, he was drafted by the Tigers in 2011, and he was a Stingray and even played a lot of footy for Coburg when they were affiliated with the Tigers. And then you've also got Brady Egan, he played a lot of VFL with Frankston, and he played with Rye in the Mornington League as well. So, yeah, there is quite a lot of experience there for either side, and that's why they're so good.
Tooradin, of course, trying to defeat that quarter-of-a-century drought. And if there was a year to do it, this would be the year they'd have to conquer this Phillip Island side, and we can get a better understanding of where they're at today as we see Phillip Island getting into their huddle. Tooradin already in theirs. But we'll wait for the captains to toss the coin. In fact, they already have, so we'll see who's kicking which way. But in the earlier game, in the reserves, there was a heavy breeze to your left of screen. And that was predominantly for the most part of the game. Maybe a little switch in the third quarter, but I'm sure whoever won the coin toss will be kicking it to the left of screen. So here we go, Tooradin heading to their positions, as are Phillip Island. And there are a couple of players who are against their former team today. When we see them, we'll give them a mention, but I'm sure they would just love to take advantage and potentially exploit their game plan, which they already knew previously. As the umpire waits in the middle of the ground, and the siren to indicate the start of play is nearly about to sound. There it is. Here we go. First versus second, a blockbuster clash as Wright goes and gets it out of the ruck. He just kicks not a lot of meterage in it. A second effort by Wright as he lays a tackle, but it still remains loose. Finally picked up by Brewer on the left foot inside 50, and the mark will be paid. Nice intercept mark by the Phillip Island defence as they move it up to the wing, but it'll be coming back for Tooradin. Just perched at half back. Now he has options through the middle, but he'll play it long down the line. They all form, and almost just disrupting his teammate was Trezise, but the mark is taken. Interesting choice in the pocket and a nice fist to knock it out. It'll still remain in play, and now they can show a clean pair of heels out of there.
They were moving it by hands here, the Dogs, but the Seagulls got to it first. Looking to go inside 50, but they push it across the wing, but it's a bit of a rushed kick, so it'll go out of bounds and we'll have a throw in. Nearing the 50, however. So, of course, pivot right in the ruck. The former Tiger, as we mentioned before, no one got the tap in the end, so really just a fight for the footy. Snaps it onto the right. Inside 50, Bulldogs win the contest, however. It's going to be a pile up here, but someone might be able to exit, and umpire puts an end to that, says my ball. So just inside 50 for the Seagulls. The Bulldogs to win that hit out. They've just pushed further forward now, so now you're looking at a ball up towards the centre square. Pivot right, he's been good early in the first opening minutes in the ruck. Almost tackled him, and now we've got another inside 50 from Wright. He's been really impressive inside 50 mark. And you're looking at Stuart Scanlon with a set shot, and he looks to be about 45 out.
Definitely one of the more productive goal kickers for this Tooradin side. 203 games, 417 goals over his career. And off the boot, it might be swinging left, and it's just tugged that way. But it looked good off the boot.
Yeah, it certainly did, Dylan, and didn't mind the drop punt at all, but maybe just started to swing a little bit too much, as we'll have Mark Griffin to kick it out for the Bulldogs from the back line. He's been a Bulldog his whole career. 148 games he's played with Phillip Island. So assessing his options here, Tooradin have set up nicely. There's not a single open player in sight, so he's going to have to kick it to a big pack. No one can get the footy in the end, but eventually goes and to the Bulldogs. They quickly turn it over, though, to Luke McKenna. Ball goes backwards. Almost marked by a Bulldog there. Could have been pushed in the back. Ball spills out. Across the wing here. They might re-enter inside 50 here. Players chasing for the ball. Who's going to win? We've got an absolute blockbuster on our hands today. Bulldogs win this contest. They centre the footy, and it's picked off well by Lewis Hill. And he was a member of the Eastern Rangers side in the NAB League last year. So a talented young man, Mr. Hill is. So low cutting kick. Couldn't get into anyone's chest. Being pulled off the ball. Snaps on the left. That's looking good. But goes off to the right.
So all the play with the Seagulls in the first 4 minutes. Saturday afternoon football. First v second, and again, Mark Griffin to potentially entertain an option and half back. And this should swing to the left, and as you can see, it just holds up in the wind. So Wright joined the throng and somehow left it with the footy in his hands. Strong contested mark as he surveys. Had a teammate close. He chose the longer option, and it's reeled in. A nice little juggler. And another shot at goal coming up for the Seagulls.
What a mark. Just juggled it around with the one hand, but was eventually able to break loose and get the set shot. So just trying to look at his number. And I think you're looking at Stuart Scanlon again there.
And is that the first of the day? It is. Well, they've certainly set the tempo early, the Seagulls. 1-2-8 to no score on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard.
And they're setting up behind the ball really well, Tooradin. Phillip Island just can't seem to get it down the field, and Tooradin have done an excellent job in just continuing to lock it inside their 50. So both their defence and their midfield have been working really well.
Yep, as we resume hostilities in the middle. Finally a knock forward for Phillip Island. Now to the wing, a one-on-one as they both track it down and just climbing all over the top of each other. They were. And we'll have a ball up centre wing. Opposite side to the broadcast. Phillip Island, well, they can't let an early surge go by. Right. Shoveled hand pass out of there. Now the Bulldogs cleanly picked up some evasive footwork. They hand pass it across laterally. And now an inside 50 mark. Well, he was just disrupted in the moment, was Patullo. They'll have to find another way out. Dribbles along for a minor score. So they're finally on the scoreboard.
And that was a good passage of play from the Bulldogs. I liked what they've done there. And Tooradin, they just broke down a little bit there, let their players get loose, and they allowed some open space to be created, but certainly still not a bad performance. So Adam Oxley, the former Pie, kicking off from half back, goes to the wing as his choice of kick. Snaps it again. We've seen a couple of those today. It goes further towards the wing. That's a nice mark. Taken by
Scanlon again.
It was Scanlon. It's been good up forward so far. No mark taken. It was Wright who collected it. The big ruckman. He's crumbing well in that instance. And we're going to have another build up of plays here. So ball up on the far wing.
Yep. Yet to see McCaffrey inject himself. And this happened last time we were here. It was usually the third quarter.
So Phillip Island just failing to defend really well there. But luckily it was a Bulldog defender who read very well there. So it's going again towards that wing. It goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in.
Right on the windscreen at the wing. 7-point lead early. As you can just see all their defensive matchups, and height seems to be the advantage for the Seagulls. So we resume play. There's Wright again, carving through. But he missed the footy. And the Bulldogs, well, they need to pounce on it. They do, but they can't edge it forward. Half forward. Wright again, this time with the left. spills out. It'll trickle along the ground. Finally falls back into its place in the pack, and then it's released again. Just kicked off the carpet forward. But they're heavily fortified back there, but it was coughed up. And now they can seriously take advantage of this, can the Seagulls. Floating ball in the air. Falls down to ground, and we have a free kick coming back to the Seagulls.
And Stuart Scanlon again, he's had an absolute performance and a half. Him and Piver Wright, they've been two key Seagulls to start off this game. And he's on a bit of a tough angle, but...
Well, he knows where to aim it now.
Yeah,
his last shot just hovered right to the left. So you'd think he'd aim at the right goalpost. He does, but a little too much. It's off to the far side this time, so every place but the middle for Stuart Scanlon.
So we'll have another score go towards the Seagulls, and by no means has it been all momentum in their way, but it's certainly been a tough fight for the Bulldogs so far. That was nearly a strong contested mark taken by Adam Galea there, and another inside 50 entry. This time, you're looking at Julian Suarez. He played his 150th a couple of weeks ago against Kui Rupp, and that was a really strong contested grab. He had a couple Phillip Island defenders on him, and almost the exact same shot as his teammate before, maybe just on a little bit easier of an angle. So he lines it up, and he's kicked that well. So Tooradin score a major again, and they've put on a really impressive performance so far.
35 years old is Julian Suarez in August, but you wouldn't think so. Aging like fine wine, and that's just another goal to his career. 379th to be exact, in his 238th game. And a 14-point lead has opened up on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard. 2-3, 15 to 1 single behind for Phillip Island. And all the impetus with Tooradin early, as the umpire is set to throw it up again, and he does. And this is where Wright has taken advantage of Pedersen, and he goes again off the ground. It's a little ill-directed, and the Bulldogs will come out to the near side along the boundary. It'll stay in play, and he was trying to just puncture a hole through the pack. It was Lenders, but he was prevented from doing it, and it's finally a throw-in. A rowdy crowd, as you can hear. Not a single car park left in the arena. Why would there be? Trezise flicks a kick out. It's trapped by the Bulldogs' defence, and he'll receive a free kick for his efforts. Will Griffin, from full back, he's just worked his way up the ground to half forward. And a fly coming in from the side. Well, you could see that from a mile away. Jack Taylor quickly spins, and in an instance turns it over. And Dylan Parlberg, as we saw a couple of weeks ago, standing tall in defence.
Just a bit of fun fact for you. Parlberg, he won a Best and Fairest in 2007 for Hastings under-12 side. So there you go. I bet you didn't know that. So kicks it towards the wing. It's going to be a chase here. Phillip Island, you'd say they'd won, but the tackle there, they continue to push out the wing, and they're really doing well with the hands here. That was a strong tackle, though. Really impressive there. Good pressure. And now they can move through the middle. They're out here, the Seagulls. That's a big, strong lead. Wasn't quite quick enough. And that was Suarez again. So back in the possession of the Bulldogs. And they'll just take it out of bounds here. So Tooradin could say a bit of a missed opportunity. They were moving really well through the centre there, but just misguided the kick a little. But they'll end back up with the footy again. Handwork has been brilliant today. So another inside 50 entry, really low footy kick. And ball just spilling everywhere. Eventually the Bulldogs will get it. Once again, moving by hands out into the middle. And a big strong mark once again taken by Luke McKenna.
So McKenna Kicks it sideways, a little bit of distance gained on it, and they'll just chip this around. Options everywhere, but now here's the challenge that presents itself. Where is an option inside 50? You see Suarez, he double-backed, now right leading towards the footy. He's got the sit! And that was just perfect execution all round by Tooradin. From halfway to half forward to full forward, and in the pocket is Pever Wright.
It was a really strong lead from the big fella. He absolutely just went out there with the two hands. I liked the domination he asserted.
Played for the Stingrays over 2 years, Coburg in 2012, and then up to the Neefel for a year in 2013. Well, he's finally back down here. He's comfortable at home in Tooradin, but the kick is off to the left, and another minor score, 2-4 to 0-1 on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard.
So how do Phillip Island respond here? It's been a weak quarter for them. Not a common occurrence when you see this side. So I think they're going to go down across the wing again. And to another pack, it was almost a contested mark taken there by Brad Lenders. And another stoppage. It's almost an impressive mark taken by Lenders, as I mentioned before. So ball spills out towards the middle of the ground on the right. And Bulldogs defender will get to it first. So kick near the boundary. That was from Max Blake, and it was a big, strong mark again from Cameron Peterson. And it was a mark again taken by Harry O'Brien. So he'll spin, and that's a great tackle. He tried to be cheeky. That was Cameron Brown against his former side, and he got absolutely thumped.
And that's Oxley.
Oh, was it Oxley, was it?
Yep,
I thought it was Cameron Brown.
Sorry, Oxley tackled him. Ended up with the footy. Out to the wing now. That'll just stay in play. And this is where they worked it well previously, the Seagulls. And they take a similar approach. That's the methodology they've been going by, but McCaffer only able to escort that over the line. So a 15-point lead for Tooradin. They'll definitely look to put some more on the board. There's Pedersen out of the ruck. Really his first meaningful disposal. McKenna collided with Oxley, but it didn't affect the state of play. But a free kick has been given to the Bulldogs.
I think it might have been high contact.
Yeah, I'm assuming against Adam Oxley. This is where they've been a little lackluster. They've only had one real opportunity, and it was quickly cut out to half forward. And they'll reset. Any observations thus far? I've noticed Cameron Pedersen isn't sitting up forward. He's in the ruck. So maybe a new approach, and they might have to trial something new if it doesn't work.
Yeah, well, the Dogs haven't really been able to push it down their end of the ground much. It's just been all Tooradin. Their pressure's been okay, but it's not been good enough to force any turnovers. So they've been able to get a lot of stoppages, but like I said before, they're not forcing the turnovers that they'd like to see, where they can push further down the ground and they can find a leading mark inside 50.
So that's a long throw in, and it just held up in the wind again. Pedersen spikes it forward. They all surround this footy as it's locked away. Safekeeping, not getting out of there. It's a bit of noise in this box as Tooradin will enter forward. Stuck in the middle of the ground. And a free kick coming back for Phillip Island. Now this is the perfect position for them. So you'll just flare one inside 50. Pedersen had the sit. Couldn't juggle it. And they say it was a little unrealistic.
Oh, I thought he had paid the mark. But no, he's given a free kick. My mistake, Dylan, sorry.
So in the back line. Nice drop punt. A 3-on-2. Egan couldn't hold it. They barrel into each other. It's dislodged for a moment. Finally, they gather it under their control. Here's Lenders. Down the wing. They're all just rabid in there. Looping hand pass out the back, and now they can motor forward slowly. Instead, they'll take the boundary line.
So that was some really good pressure for the first time from the Bulldogs. The Seagulls just couldn't find an open option, and it left Tooradin Dalmore in dire need of an option. So instead, we'll have a boundary throw in. Pedersen taps it over, and he taps it right to a Seagull, however. So that was Dylan Parlberg. Kicks it further down the wing. No one can get open. Oh, there was a nice little soccer kick. Looks like a half bicycle kick you might see in the UEFA Champions League.
Or the World Cup.
Or the World Cup, or Premier Leaguers, Liga. There's a bunch of them. You got Suarez. He played for Atletico Madrid. Luis Suarez, obviously not the same family, but nonetheless, there is Suarez kicking it along, and there was a Seagull diving into his handball, and a free kick will be paid in the way of Tooradin, and I think it might have been for holding the man. So that's Blake Gruwa ready to take his kick. Might go the set shot. He played NEFL for a couple of years, including a year with the Brisbane Lions reserves, and he just chips it over about 15 metres. So closer shot on goal for Brady Egan. And he was a Stingray in 2013, and he played with Frankston in the VFL. So about 40 or so out, pretty much directly in front. Egan. That's a great kick. Oh, it drifts off to the left in the wind a little bit. Didn't even get the distance, actually. So now it's going to push further towards left half forward. It taps over to a Seagull. That was really clever. But the Bulldogs might get to it first. They don't. McKenna could have been holding the ball. Snaps it on the right. Ball just getting closer and closer, edging, but not quite this time, and it goes for a minor score.
How about that wind? I think he started that beyond the right point post, and it didn't even make the distance and almost went out on the full to the left. So a monumental wind, and it's 2-5. Make it 2-6 to 0-1, I believe. Either way, Tooradin have to lead. That kick fell short of the pack, and Vernon wasn't able to mark. McKenna again in the thick of things as he just tried to remove the shackles. They're all diving on the football and a ball up. So Suarez v Pedersen. Pedersen tapping it down. Again, it just falls free. So a bit of a stalemate for the last couple of minutes. Not a lot of scoring happening. Plenty of arguments around the ground as Suarez this time a little flick out of their Trezise. He'll punch it forward, but only as far as the defence, which is holding up a little better than it was earlier on for the Bulldogs.
Louis Hill just getting into... I'll have a look. I think that was Zach Wagner of the Bulldogs.
Pedersen again. McCaffer. Haven't really seen a lot of Brent McCaffer early on. Still plenty of time for him to influence his side as Pedersen, probably his 6th, 7th hit out. And now an opportunity revealing for the Bulldogs. They all crashed. A couple of forwards scaled the pack, almost took the mark. It just moves its way sideways, does the footy. Finally picked up. There's a tamed hand pass and out of defence. His ship to a pack, and Parlberg once again in defence. He's a staunch structure, isn't he, Dylan Parlberg? Now McCaffer made a lead. He took the short option in Brad Lenders. A half back, but we know that this can quickly transform into half forward if that pressure does come into fruition for the Bulldogs. Plenty of Bulldogs this time. Head over the footy and crunched. That was Eli Richards. The umpire blows his whistle.
So on the broadcast side of the wing, right, he's back in the ruck versus Pedersen. And that was a big leading kick from Blake Gruwa. Had a set shot opportunity before. Oh, that was a juggling mark that was from Scanlon, but he eventually got it. He's asking for the footy off Mark Griffin, and he was reluctant to give it. In the end, he got it. So just looking for any lead, and is he confident enough to take the set shot? That is from a fair way out. You're looking at about a 50-metre kick with the wind. So Scanlon. Oh, that's looking really good. Has that gone through? It has! What a set shot from Stewie Scanlon. From the right, kicks it all the way over to the left, through the middle with the win for 6.
Well, there is a reason he has a career average of over 2 goals a game. When you can kick the footy like that, you're not surprised at all.
That's one of the better set shots I've seen in local footy. Boy, wowee. Certainly likes that.
3 goals, 5 now for Tooradin. 8 scoring shots to 1. And that one score is a minor. 23-1 on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard. Pedersen, at his own detriment, knocked it down to an opponent. And Scanlon, he's ready. The moment is his. And he'll kick another. Tooradin are up and about early. A 28-point lead.
And
4-5 plays 0-1, and blink and you'll miss it, really. Scanlon back-to-back goals.
He had about 2 in the matter of 30 seconds, and he's kicked it into the car park as well. So this is not what we expected from Phillip Island. Such an experienced side. They've won, well, some of these players have won 3 flags, and it's just all Tooradin today who have had a couple really good years now, but they're looking to break that 25-year premiership drought, and it's certainly looking good today for their season.
A little lethargic at the moment, aren't they, the Bulldogs?
Yeah, just pressure isn't really it's just non-existent. And they can't cause any turnovers to get it down their end of the ground. So punched footy further into the centre of the ground. We're nearly back to where we started, tumbling bodies. Now they push it further towards the 50. Pedersen nearly took it. And umpire will say my ball. So this is better for Phillip Island. They're a bit closer to their goals now. But they really just need to lay a couple good tackles. So pushing inside 50 now are the Bulldogs. And he was tackled there. Eventually got to a Bulldog. That was
Minor score. That's Brandon Kimber. So 25 and a half minutes into this first quarter, and they're yet to register a major. Adam Oxley. This will be his second chance at a kick in, and if you were watching 2 weeks ago, you know exactly where he's going to kick. Well, he takes the opposite side. Similar approach. Plenty of players congregated on the wing. Tapped out of there and just taped onto one of the Bulldogs there. Brought to ground. So we'll see if there's one late opportunity. Well, it was shut down in a blink of an eye, but what a quarter it is for the Tooradin Dalmore Seagulls. Stuart Scanlon, no doubt the best player on the ground in that first. They have a 27-point lead. 4-5-29 to 2 behinds for Phillip Island. We'll see how they can respond. They'll have the wind. They'll regather, regroup, and potentially come out revitalised. But we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with you.
A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. I'm going all the way up. I'm letting go in my heart of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Wonderland, whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Wonderland, whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around.
Well, what a first quarter by the Seagulls it was. 4 goals 5, 29 to 2 behinds. And they were certainly up and about. We'll see if the Bulldogs can stop the bleeding or if they can retaliate.
And yeah, it was a poor quarter for the Dogs. And just the Seagulls, they were all over them all quarter. They were first to get to the Sharon, and then they had really good leads inside 50, especially from Stuart Scanlon, who kicked an absolutely booming set shot. And the Bulldogs just, even some of their forward pressure when they got inside their 50 just wasn't good enough. But they're a quality side, Phillip Island, and we, of course, expect them to respond. But this quarter...
And Scanlon followed up the goal with another as well within 30 seconds.
He sure did. So, tapped out. They've obviously switched sides now, so Phillip Island kicking to your right of screen. That's a really quick inside 50 entry. That was looking better. McKenna, that was really clever by hands. Bit of a no-look handball. So, really high kick. Didn't cover much distance. And I think that was out on the full. So, Phillip Island will get a re-entry here, which is good. Because they weren't really able to lock it inside their end at all. And you've got a strong lead there. Walks around, and that's going to be a snap. That's looking good. It's not going to have the legs, however. Can anyone take a contested mark? And in the end, it was Cooper's ship.
Yep. Steadying the ship there. They did not want to concede early.
So, the ball's being spilled out here. Bit of a brain fade, and luckily for Tooradin, it'll go for a minus score. So, here's Oxley. He's looking over to his right, but he could go the left if he wanted to. However, he didn't listen, so he went over and he's almost turned that one over. It was a drop mark, a bit of a sitter there. Kicks it right into a seagull. So ball continues to push forward for Tooradin. And they just can't really get a clean foot or hand to it. Another turnover by the Bulldogs. And a little stab kick. And it's intercepted by Phillip Island off half back. So, over again to the wing. It's a nice mark taken.
It's Pavulo, I think. Yeah.
It was.
Tulo, rather.
So, inside 50 entry. And is that a mark and they'll pay it? That was falling into the mark there. That was a strong grab. And once again, Tooradin can go on the attack.
And they do. Party at the wing. Who's invited? Well, Peaver Wright was. Great mark. Might play on through the middle. No, he does the smart option. A little pot kick to McCaffrey and forced his will. Just chucked it on the boot. It'll bounce and gallop forward. And we'll have a throw in at the half-forward line. But I like what I'm seeing for Phillip Island. They're more attacking this quarter.
This quarter's been a lot more even. They've been able to actually cause some Tooradin turnovers, which is some good signs as it remains inside 50. Umpire calls for the ball again, so it's getting a bit dangerous here for Phillip Islands now. Another goal looms for the Seagulls. So Suarez in the ruck.
Tamata as well instead of Pedersen.
Ball was just tapping around. A bit of hot potato. Oh, it was a great tackle laid there. And a free kick going in the way of Phillip Island.
So I believe it will be... Is it Pedersen on the far side? No. It'll be Jack Taylor. They'll all fly. Scanlon had it smothered. See what the Bulldogs can do here. Nothing transpired. It's right in the centre of the ground. Every player just had it attached to them. Not a slither of space for them to crawl through, and we'll have a ball up. Almost like a goal's being kicked right in the centre. And again, another dispute, and operations are put to a halt.
Right in the centre. I saw what you did there.
Speaking of right, great body use. And he just lodged a ball forward. The defence has to hold up. Got to stem the flow somehow. No one has a clean handle on the footy. Trezise, he's being persistent. The umpire has pinned out a free kick for the Seagulls.
So, who will it go in favour of?
And a 50-metre penalty, so this should be a certainty for Tooradin. And a 32-point lead beckons. Right in front of goal. Shouldn't miss this. And doesn't.
And Scanlon again, he's kicked his third major of the day. In a half.
He is having himself some sort of day. And this is an exhibition that they're putting on. Whistles blowing everywhere. We're not too sure what's happening, but we know the goal is confirmed. So we should have a ball up again in the middle of Tooradin Recreation Reserve. 5-5 to 3 behinds on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard.
And has Max Blake been sent off here by the umpire? I think he has. The blood rule.
Yep.
Okay, my mistake. I thought he might have back chatted to the umpire there. Don't think he did in the end. Just some blood. So Wright versus Pedersen. Pedersen wins that occasion, and he almost got a clearance there in the end as well, but instead the ball will continue to tumble and rumble through the centre. That was a big tackle there. That one laid by Lenders, I think it was. So Wright, he's gone back into the ruck. He had a nice first quarter. And he even pushed up forward a little bit as well where he normally plays. So inside 50 entry for the Bulldogs, and just as they enter, we'll have another throw up. So Dogs are able to get in the end, but Tooradin actually win that one. So now it looks really dangerous. They're out here, the Seagulls. They've just got to find a nice target. Scanlon, he was looking for his fourth but couldn't win in the end of the day. And just trying to get the one hand free and trying to tap it along. It could have been holding the man, but perhaps not. And umpire calls my ball. So Tooradin were looking really good there, but the Dogs were good to get back in the end.
Well, they just need one goal to get themselves going, the Bulldogs do, and it might go the other way. Egan out of the pack. What a snap. Brady Egan kicks their sixth, and they are just unextinguishable at the moment. 6-5 to 3 behinds on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard.
Well, there's a lot on the line during this game, and not only is the first loss for either club on the line, but also the reputation as premiership favourites for the rest of the season. And Phillip Island are really just not proving themselves here at the moment. They're just letting Tooradin run wild. Mm-hmm. So how do they respond? They need a response immediately. It's becoming a really bad situation here down in Tooradin for the Bulldogs.
Yep.
And ball's thrown up. So once again, another stoppage. Pedersen in the ruck. They just need a quick clearance, and they need to run quickly through the middle here, but it will actually be Tooradin who will get that, and Scanlon. Have a look at the man. He's absolutely hunting for the footy, and it's going to roll over the boundary line, but I liked his hunt there.
Yeah, I think he concealed that very well. Boundary line was the best option, but he played it as if he was trying to pick it up, and it just eluded him. So half forward to throw in. Pedersen and Wright again. They'll duel it out. And it just spills to Trezise. He'll float one across. And now there's some vacant space. The defender has to get back. I don't think he has. It's another goal for Tooradin. What are we seeing? First versus second, but you'd think it'd be second versus ninth. Phillip Island are being put to the sword at the moment, and they need a goal desperately. 7-5 to 0-3 on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard.
That was a really low kick at goal. I thought Daniel Pearce would have got that for sure, but according to the goal umpire, didn't get a finger to it. So another major in the favour of the Seagulls. This is domination we're seeing here today. Something we didn't expect from the back-to-back premiers, the reigning premiers. So just disastrous here for Phillip Island. Something they did not expect. They only had the one loss last year to Nana Goon. But now it's looking like...
Who they beat last week as well.
They did, yeah.
You would have thought they've defeated everyone in their path. But
yeah, they beat them by 33 points, the Gooners, in the end. So just the most unlikely of events today. Of course, Phillip Island can still crawl their way back into it. We're not counting them out, but it's looking bad for them at the moment.
So ball up in the middle. Pedersen again with brute strength has given away a free kick. Oxley looked like he was eager to take it, but he'll give it off. To half forward now, Wright making his way over slowly. He might have to rove Suarez and now Trezise. There is Suarez, threads it through. Wright again, just restraining his opponent. And another ball up, about 35 out from the Seagulls' goal.
And we've seen this movie before. A stoppage inside 50. All they need to do is crumb here, the Gulls. And they can get another major. And out from the pack. On the right, is it going to have the distance? It does, but it goes off to the right for a minus score for Brent McCaffer.
Exact same chain of events from the previous goal. Brady Egan previously, that time Brent McCaffer. As we see on the near side, just a lot of stagnation, as you said last week. And Phillip finally have a target. Now where to? The bench just yelling directions. I don't think he followed them, but in the end, he has another teammate. Probing ball. Look at the wind affect that. And to their own benefits. Jamie Yule. This will be a harsh challenge. The wind against him, the odds against him, the scoreboard against him, but it is a necessity. Brady Yule. Well, he's shanked it off the boot. It comes off hands. It deflects all around for the Seagulls, and they clean up. It's a little untidy, and we'll have a ball up in their forward line.
So, Yule, the captain, he played his 200th match last month, and you're right, Dylan, he's just shanked it off the boot, could not get it off cleanly. But, of course, they've got more opportunities. Is that looking good? Not quite, but I think it was kept in. Handball out, and turns over Tooradin, and all he had to do was tap it over Cooper Ship. And he's been at the nest since 2018. He's become a regular in their senior side. So Oxley, the former Magpie of Collingwood variety, not Daleston, kicks it to the wing. Oh, Wright almost had to grab that, and he's going to pay it. That was a really strong mark there. So now they're moving across the wing. Options presenting here for the Gulls.
Oh,
Not before it's kicked out of bounds on the full.
jeez, that's unlike Brent McCaffer.
Yeah, that looked really good there for Tooradin and Dalmore, but it's just a bit of an odd kick in the end. Maybe the wind carried it.
So Griffin from half back to a band at the wing. Mark nearly taken. Tomato. And it'll go the Seagulls' way again.
Oxley was thrown to the ground then.
Yep. Now we know that the customary option here would be to just barrel it as long as possible, but does he take a more methodical approach? He doesn't. He does that. Trezise with the leap. And the grab. Well, that could well be a contender for our Fused by King G mark of the day. One leg, used his opponent as a step ladder. And if he kicks the goal, it will be some sort of effort. James Trezise, the wind in his favour. Nice left boot. No worries at all for James Trezise. A 50-point lead for the Seagulls on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard. 8 goals, 6 to 4 behinds.
What events are we seeing down here in Tooradin? This is absolutely shocking football being played by Phillip Island at the moment. They need to step up. They need some motivation. They need something.
Well, he recommitted this year, James Trezise, so they're definitely welcoming him with open arms.
So, the Bulldogs really struggling here.
Oh,
Falls on top of him, and I think another turnover was going to go to the Seagulls, and they're calling that he dragged it in, but perhaps not. So, another ball up, and Bulldogs taps it over towards the centre square. That was
Kimber, I believe.
I thought might have been Tamata, but not wrong there. Could have been him. So we'll have another stoppage.
Well, who would have thought we'd be saying that they'd need a goal before half-time, otherwise this could be as good as over.
So had a couple stoppages here now, and we're just waiting for either team to break loose. So Tooradin eventually are able to get it back out. Scanlon, he gets hold of the footy. Now players are pushing down inside 50. He more sort of just kicked it to space there. He faked the handball. That was Lewis Hill. Now he's finding someone down there in the pocket. That was Brad Butler, who re-signed in the September of last year. And it was almost another goal for the Gulls, who lead by 50 points in the second quarter. So tapped out by Wright. This presents as a great opportunity for the Gulls. Luckily, they had an extra line of defence there. Phillip Islands. So kick along the wing into space. That was Matthew Jones. Suarez over the shoulder handball. And they're going to get another entry, it looks like. It will be. Wright was presenting, not quite. Scanlon going for number 4. He's tackled just before he could get to it. And Butler was lurking, but not quite.
Just in the nick of time. And now, oh, geez, Scanlon going to ground. Just being that irritant that we spoke on last week. Every team needs one of them. Well, this is over half a century. 51 points. This is where they've been indecisive. Mark Griffin. No hesitation. To the wing. McKenna had prime position, but his teammate just picked it up clean as ever. Galea. McCaffer. They'll chain up the handballs now. Look at the open options inside 50. But coming through with courage was the defence, and it's clattered away out of there. It should be on its way back. Assuming there isn't a fumble, but there was. Now Suarez, his kick smothered. They weren't ready to commit their body fully, were the Dogs, and now they are trying to activate someone through the middle. But look at this collision, barging through. Every player on the ground getting into it. Pedersen just couldn't follow it. McKenna again. Lateral hand pass. Oxley, some nifty footwork. And now to the wing, where it all began, this passage of play. Let's see how they attack it this time. Hill. Into the pocket and precise for Trezise.
That was far too easy there. And a lot of space, and I think he's looking for another play here. It's going to be a really tough angle. He gives it off to Oxley. A rare goal. He usually plays in the back line. And it goes across the face.
Well, that would have blown a roof off and the house would have gone wild then. He did something similar a couple of weeks ago from this side of the ground, but that angle was definitely difficult, more difficult.
So Griffin to kick it out from full back. Goes to the wing again, and there's another mark intercepted by Oxley, and he's played a really good game today off half back. And he just scored a behind before. If you're just joining us, Suarez looking really dangerous there, but couldn't get two hands on the footy in the end. It was a nice tackle laid by a Bulldog. They centre it right. That's not 15. He's trying to evade through the traffic. And a bit of an accidental torpedoes. Pierce marks it with open space. So now they can move along the wing. It was almost tackled there. Was Zach Vernon. That's a mark taken on the wing. That's Cameron Brown playing against his former side in Tooradin today, as we mentioned before. Handball along the ground. What can the Bulldogs do here? Pushes further towards the boundary line, and it goes over. That was an exciting sequence of play.
Yep. 19 and a half minutes in. And it's still 8-8 to 0-4 on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard. 52 points. If any of us said that in the pre-game show, we would have looked at each other like, what are you thinking? But it's a little preposterous. Difficult to believe, but Phillip Island, well, we can't stress this enough. They need a goal. And then another, but it will all emanate from the one. As we'll have another throw in. Centre wing. Just over 20 minutes now into time on. Now, the one thing that Tooradin can't do is go into the halftime a little complacent as the mark is taken by Kai McKenzie right at half-back. You can hear everyone just giving him directions. Pearce now gets past one, takes a bounce and kicks to the wing. Nice mark. So a searching kick inside 50. McCaffer with a big set of knuckles, but it'll spill. Brown had a teammate nearby in Kimber. Right to the goal mouth. The defence again is just bolstered because every teammate was nearby and they're looking to continue the flow of play and hold Phillip Island to 0 goals at half-time. A top of the table clash, and it's 8 goals to 0. In the forward pockets, it's just belted out of there. That time by Wright, or Suarez, I believe it was. And again, it floats in the air. And Griffin on the last line of defence for the Bulldogs. A quick appraisal of what was ahead, and now he trots off. Delivers inside 50. Probably too far out to score. A massive strike required. He'll play on. He'll kick it low. Measure it inside. To no avail. And we'll have a ball up inside their 50 though.
So, the past couple of minutes has been better for Phillip Islands. They're starting to lock it inside their 50 a bit more, which is something that we haven't seen much of in this half. Another stoppage once again. Jason Tomato couldn't find anyone open on the hit out. So they'll exit inside 50, or maybe not, just kick not large enough. So pushes out towards the wing. I think that's Pearce, it is. Running towards the Sharon with intent. He finds Griffin. They then centre the footy. They're looking for a Bulldog there. They were actually looking for Jamie Yule, but it was picked off nicely by a Seagull. And off to the wing again, Suarez. He's had a really good second quarter and turns it over there. Bit of an errant kick. So Bulldogs just need to find an open option, but Tooradin are setting up really well behind the ball, but little fumble there. And now they're out here. Can they finally kick a goal? Kimber. Oh no, he's messed up the handball. Little eventually gets it to a teammate though.
Pedersen.
Directly in front of goal. It was Pedersen who was able to crumb the footy. I thought it was looking a bit dangerous again for another point. Thought the ball might have gone over, but Pedersen just got to it in time for their first major of the half.
And now we're on. Motivation potentially. We know what one goal can do, and they'd love another before the half. 23 and a half minutes nearly through this second quarter. Margin reduced to 46. And Cam Pedersen, who else would it be? Their leading goal kicker this year. McCaffer loping after it with another opponent. Livermore just wrapped around. So there's the flick forward by Tamata. And there is Livermore again. Over to McCaffer, who was just driven and constrained in the tackle. Should have another ball up, so I don't know about you, but I think Tooradin would be happy to just calm it down and enter the half with a nice lead. So good combat around the contest. And that goal's just sucked a little bit out of it for now. Plenty of stoppages. And finally, it may leave, but it's holding the ball. And now the Seagulls' turn. happy to retreat. It's a dangerous kick. Mark comfortably taken in the end. Now to the wing. Ship. He can steer this one across to half forward. And Brown did well to intervene.
And the kick was from Ship, who has been good in the back line today, but maybe the kick was just a little bit off there in that instance. Brown was able to punch it over the boundary line, and they're pushing forward once again, the Bulldogs. So they've looked a bit more dangerous in the back, in the way of Phillip Islands. So Billy Taylor to take this one. That's the first time I've called his name at least. Kicks it along the wing. Almost found a strong mark, but instead
Lenders.
it was Brad Lenders, who's the vice captain. He's a Seagull for life. Well, he has been a Seagull for life, I should say. Right, almost took a really good grab there. Ball just trickling along to the centre square. Right, little stab kick. And then they enter inside 50 again. Oh, what a mark taken. Takes flight. Brady Egan sat on the shoulders of the Bulldog, Zach Wagner.
Another contender for our Fused by King G mark of the day.
A contender. That's taken the chocolate so far, for sure. My goodness. So Egan, he's got a fairly easy look at goal as well. He's played good down in the forward line today. Can he slot it through? The icing on a cake to a terrific mark. Tooradin strike again. So what a half it's been for the Seagulls.
Yeah, great call, Bailey.
Liked their game. Thanks, Dylan.
What a mark. Even better finish. It was never in doubt, was it? Off the boot, you could hear the teammates erupt. And again, that 52-point lead has opened up. Nearly 27 minutes now in this second quarter. Where to for the Bulldogs might be lacking a little bit of direction, and the energy levels have certainly been suffocated and stifled by this Seagulls team that is running rampant. And now again, Livermore entered the pack, but shut down immediately. A big rise. That time, Brad Butler, probably his first hit out for a while. That kick smothered off the boot of Adams. Vernon tracking it down. They'll all just dive at it. Finally, it's dug out of there. Parlberg. And just slung to the ground. And a free kick going the way of the Bulldogs. Can't be long left. Over 27 and a half minutes in. They'll venture forward again. They need a mark. But the siren beats them all. And what a showcase by the Tooradin Dalmore Seagulls. A 52-point lead. We've had two contenders for mark of the day. Plenty of goals. Stuart Scanlon leading the charge with 3. A 52-point lead at halftime on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard. We'll take a short hiatus and we'll be back for the halftime show.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in love. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland, whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in love. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland, whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in love. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland, whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm burning enough. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm burning enough. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
Well, what a first half it was, but before we return to the play, footy is more than a game, and we just wanted to say it's okay not to be okay, so check up on your mates and just make sure that you're doing well, your own health and well-being is as at the optimum state, but all proceeds are donated to the charity on the It's Okay Not to Be Okay website. But back to the action, it is a blistering first half at Tooradin Dalmore, 9-8-62 to 1-4-10, a 52-point lead on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard. Bailey Allen, what have you liked so far?
Tooradin's pressure around the ball, they've not provided a lot of, or Phillip Island haven't been able to get a lot of options open at all. Just no space. They're suffocating within this Tooradin defence. And Tooradin, they've been pushing it really forward cleverly as well, and their centre clearance work has been good, and just nothing really to fault them at the moment. And if you've watched Space Jam, the Phillip Island Bulldogs need some of Michael's secret stuff at the moment.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut off your mic for a moment there, but we're back.
Nah, that's all right.
So, as you can see, the umpire waiting for the all clear. Siren about to sound. That's the coach's last message. exactly what we said in the first half. Here we go. How can they respond, the Bulldogs? Nothing in the first few seconds, but aggressive intent, which they were kind of lacking in the first half. So here we go again. They link up by hand. This comes out to the wing, and now they have a couple of numbers free. Can they exploit the space? Kick to half forward. Open options at the forward line. That kick smothered, and Oxley did well. Had to improvise with the hand pass. Barreling through was Brown. And they all lay on top of each other. Good commitment by Harry O'Brien. Just early on as Cam Pedersen had the leap. Didn't really get the tap. Grua high up and under. It evaded everyone. No one really can handle the footy, and now they do. They'll negotiate through the centre. Just spitting out of traffic was Egan. A long hand pass for Lenders. Down the wing, Trezise. He'll come through with pace. And we'll see if they can straddle the line unsuccessfully.
So boundary throw in. No side really showing who's going to come out in this third quarter just yet. So it's all even at the moment. Tooradin able to clear it out. That was Trent Adams. Turns the ball over now, and now they're going through the middle of the Bulldogs. So this is looking really good. Maybe an intercept mark, but no, it won't be. Stretched out the arms and took
Jack Taylor.
this great mark. That was Jack Taylor, who's been at Phillip Island his whole career. And he's about 50 out, so he's going to need a fair kick on this. And as our stream manager Kai was saying before, it's dropped about 5 degrees and the conditions are getting worse. The clouds are looking dark. And he shanked that kick. He's really poor drop. So Pedersen.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a bad injury there. He
That's the captain, Kelly.
fell right on his knee. He looks ginger, but he's trying to get up and he can't put any weight on it either.
Yeah.
And he cannot walk on it, Kelly. And you could see it here from the timekeeper's box. He's just fell right in front of it was Pedersen. So it was completely accidental, but nonetheless, it was a strong tap out, but no one could really get hold of the footy in the end. So it's going to exit outside of Phillip Island's 50. Almost a mark taken. So it's been a bit more even, this contest. I like this a bit more, not so lopsided. So ball just tumbling through for a minus score. Oxley's going to let it run through. He'll take a kick from full back, I should say. And he'll play on. Oxley goes to the wing again. And ball ends up with Tooradin, and now they can push forward here, but the Bulldogs are putting on a lot more pressure than they were in the first half. Nonetheless, they're still continuing to go forward. Oh, that might be pushing them back, but the umpire will call it a mark instead in the favour of Marcus Wright, the Bulldogs, who played in that 2019 flag after missing out on the semi-final against Tooradin Dalmore. He was selected in the premiership winning side. So it goes across the far side of the wing again. Almost a good mark taken by Oxley. He gets the footy. He's had a fair amount of the footy in this third quarter. They find someone on the wing again. So low kick. Oh, he dropped for the mark there, but might have just touched the ground first, but it's still not looking like a great situation here for the Dogs. Tooradin just need to get out, and they might have a goal here. But it might be a stoppage, and it actually won't be. So, going to push out towards the wing, dish it off by hands, and that's a great tackle. Cameron Brown could not escape, holding the ball. Tooradin, pressure, pressure, pressure. Palberg goes along the wing, finds Suarez, who was leading. Ball almost goes out of bounds, and in fact, it will. Umpire goes for a boundary throw in.
I just hope that wasn't crowd influence. But if we backtrack all the way to Jack Taylor's shot at goal, I'm wondering if that had something to do with his hamstring. He's had niggling hamstring issues over the last 4 years. As play resumes, a lot of pressure associated with this ball at the moment, latching onto each other everywhere. The umpire will call for it. No time to waste for Phillip Island. Just dissipating second by second. McCaffar ensures that that ball does not have any space to remove itself. Centre half forward. And a ball up, and it's taken down that time by Tamata. And pass out. Just chiseled inside effectively for the Seagulls. Right, taking it cleanly. Livermore snapping it. And at the goal line. Was it Scanlon again? It was. Probably could have let it roll through. But he elects to kick his fourth. And now morale is a worry for the Bulldogs.
Do you know what that call reminded me of? Bruce McAvaney, Grundy, when he kicks that goal versus Richmond. Was it Grundy? It was Grundy. A good call there from Dill.
No, I wish I was Bruce. Well, we know one thing about Bruce. He'd certainly be energetic about a comeback here, and they need it. Do the Bulldogs. And I'll hand it over to our co-commentator here, Bailey Allen, in the booth.
So, ball to be thrown up. If you're just joining us, Tooradin scored a major. And they're really full throttle here in this game on a Saturday afternoon, and the rain is just starting to come through, I believe. So, the Bulldogs, just a brick wall in front of my view, is a nice lead there by Geordie Patullo. I apologise for that big brick wall in my way as I saw, trying to weave like Mike Tyson. So,
Definitely
Patullo.
need the agility here in the box.
Yeah, you certainly do. So Patullo from 45 metres out, directly in front. I don't think that's going to get all the way. It will, actually. So Luke McKenna couldn't get it in the end, and Phillip Island get their second major of the day. And now things are starting to look a bit up. This third quarter's been a lot better. It's by far been their best performance yet.
That is extraordinary. A standing start from about 40-45 out with the wind. I'm just glad it went through. Otherwise, we would have been talking about the lack of run-up there. But a goal, nonetheless. So one apiece. Nearly 8 minutes into this third quarter, and a quick 8 minutes, mind you. So Butler in the ruck this time. Pedersen got the better of him, but they'll spin out of traffic and attempt to navigate through. Unable to in the end. Another ball up. So this time Butler, Pedersen just spiking it forward. Watch out. Didn't look in the rearview mirror, and Oxley was just pacing forward, and that jumper has been taken off. And it's holding the ball. What a tackle by Cam Pedersen. Got a feel for Matt Livermore there. So Pedersen driving, penetrating ball inside 50. It'll come out the back, and this is where guys will thrive off crumb opportunities. Guys like Cameron Brown, but he kicks, and it goes across the face of goal.
And if Jason Dunstall saw that, he'd be screaming. So, here's Oxley. He's, like we said before, he's played a really good game from the back line, the former Pie. So he kicks it off to his left again. He certainly likes that end of the field. And the ball was going towards the boundary line, but Brad Butler came out on top, and look at the leg speed. Tooradin, they've got heaps of room now. You're looking at Scanlon again, going for number 5, and he scored it. 5 majors for Stewie Scanlon. Can you believe that? One of the performances of the year for Tooradin Dalmore. And they knock right back up at the Bulldogs, who had just had it down their end, and they were able to get it quickly through Brad Butler, who used his leg speed and then was able to get it to a teammate, and then the hands off to Scanlon once again.
Yep, we haven't really spoken about our King G trade comfort max goal of the day, but that's certainly in contention as Pedersen puts it out ahead of his teammate. Wandering ball forward, just broken up in the air, and now chasing after it. The forward line, plenty of longitude experienced in the tackle. McKenna fishing a hand pass out to a teammate, and they'll regress and rush behind. So 11-8 to 2-7 as Adam Oxley should kick long to a pack. Well, he does have a man on short. He just completely ignored him on an extended stroll. Struggled with the bounce, picked it up, kicked to the wing. Back with the flight. The Seagulls, but a free kick to Griffin. Griffin off his line now. Gives that plenty. Who will fly? Tamata did a snap out the pack. Another behind. No, it's hit the point post. So no score, and we will have a boundary throw in. Tamata in the ruck against Brad Butler again, I believe. So Tamata again. McCaffer didn't even look where he was kicking, and in the end, it was probably a little fortuitous. Went to Egan, just missed it, and then went with the second effort. Can't collect. McCaffer barreling through, and another ball up.
So the Bulldogs had it down their end for a little bit, but in the end, couldn't find a way to score. So Wright just shoves his man out of the way, and he absolutely bangs it on the boot up forward. Luckily, Phillip Island had the numbers, so they'll kick it out towards the wing once again, and it was almost a great mark taken there. And eventually, they'll end up with the Sharon. So little stab kick. It was a mark taken by Eli Richards. And he's got a couple players leading forward. He might have overcooked that looking for Tamata. He's leaking out the back, however. Tooradin defenders all around the footy. That's a nice tackle. And umpire, say give it here. So Phillip Island deep inside 50. But the Tooradin defenders have been outstanding all game. Haven't allowed many scoring opportunities. So another ball up. Pedersen in the ruck. Tried to tap it forward towards goals, but couldn't get there in the end. And ball just can't get out anywhere. Right, he's trying to push through the big ball. Could be another entry. The whistle was blown. Going in the way of Phillip Island.
Yep, saying clear out. This happened last week. Plenty of players trying to influence the man on the mark. Searing ball inside 50. Pedersen couldn't quite rope it in. The defence does, but it's holding the ball. And now temper's beginning to flare. Let's hope it doesn't accentuate. As Jack Taylor will have shot at goal. As we said before, he had some niggling hamstring issues in 2019. He's returned to full health and is durable for the moment. But this is an opportunity that has to be capitalised on. Not beyond him. 25 metres out. And he fans it wide, and that's a bad miss.
Yeah, directly in front. It's just about the simplest kick and footy. Jack Taylor, he sprayed it right. So Oxley, he's probably bound to go to his left here, but perhaps he's feeling change. Could go the right, and he goes, no, keep going the way of the left. So almost a mark taken as Suarez ended up with it. And it was a good mark taken by Griffin there, who has been one of the better Bulldogs playing in the back line today. He could centre it, but no, he'll just go straight for 50. And it was almost Taylor again who took another good grab. And Taylor, he has the footy there, and then he dishes it off by hands. Low kick, and off
Oh, no.
a hand, I think it was touched. Jason Tamata's shot on goal, it was touched.
Well, he had an open man in the square there. That is inexcusable.
They're just cursed today, the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Zach Vernon wide open, playing for it.
Just cannot get an open look. Oxley, again, he's one of the reasons for a bad Bulldog performance today. So ball goes over the boundary line. And the Bulldogs have almost been better than Tooradin in this quarter, but one has just been able to capitalise on their opportunities a lot more. Tooradin, Phillip Island could have scored a lot of goals by now, and it was a good tackle there. Umpire stops play. Have a ball up.
Nearly 15 and a half minutes into the third. Ball up just on the edge of the arc, but it'll go the other way. And a formidable opponent takes the mark in defence. Now they can swing this. McKenzie has options. Didn't take the wide one, went straight down the barrel. And Taylor again, so he's attempting to put his imprint on the game. He'll wheel around on the right. That's been the problem for them. The entry's inside 50. Lenders did a good job. And the kick, well, that's heading near us. So we will have the perfect view of this kick. Play on, right to the teeth of goal. There was one man standing tall. Jason Tamata. And now he can make amends for his teammates' blemishes. Nearly 16 and a half minutes, a 53-point margin still. He's in a rush. Hope it doesn't affect the kick. But it has. And they miss again.
And you could just hear the jeering from the Tooradin fans there. And yeah, that's the second goal in front now. First, Jackie Taylor, and now Jason Tamata.
They were a little hysterical there, weren't they?
Yeah. 2-10-22 they've scored, which is just poor accuracy. So Oxley once again finds an open teammate in Kelly. Then he goes to Brewer. So they're just kicking along the wing here nicely. Trent Adams was described as a key in for the Seagulls in the off-season. And that was a really great grab. Leapt up and stretched the body there. And once again, down the line, looks like Mark Griffin, who has been a force down back. He's been setting up behind the ball really nicely, and he's taken a couple intercept marks there now. So that was a really dangerous kick in the end. Zach Vernon was able to get hands to it. So driving forward now. They've had a lot of scoring opportunities, the Bulldogs. Can they capitalise on this one? Not quite. So Ship dishes off by hand to a teammate. Centres it a little bit, and that was a good mark taken by Egan, who's played a really good game for the Seagulls today. He's been one of the better players. So Trezzy just tries to roll the ball forward. On the left, snaps it. Right was looming, but Griffin once again is there to save the day. Centres the footy. Oh, it's a drop mark. Maybe the ball's getting a bit slippery now. I think there might be a little bit of rain. Suarez in full forward. He can leak out here. Needs to get off by hands. Once again, Stuart Scanlon was looking dangerous and kicks it off to his left. So the Bulldogs now have a paddock of space open. They just need to take their time. No, almost a turnover again. And in fact, it will be. They just need to take their time. I know that they're down a fair bit, but they're just turning over the ball a lot, and it's a poor kick as it tumbles around the ground. Oxley try to get it off to a teammate before it goes out of bounds for a boundary throw in.
Well, there isn't any noticeable rain, but there is ominous clouds above. And we know what happens when it's in the wet. It's difficult to kick goals, and they need at least 9. Do Phillip Island as the scrum was precipitated, and we'll have a ball up. So Pedersen again. Plenty of yardage on that. Oxley is crashing into each other. And someone was wedged in between a couple. We'll have a ball up. Half forward. Nearly into time on. Still a 52-point lead, 11-8 to 2-10 on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard. Just skip along the ground. And compressed was Brewer. Big punch from Pedersen forward. Should bounce out of bounds. And it does. So, if you are the Bulldogs now, Bailey Allen, what do you do?
Start capitalising on my chances up in 50 more. Their forwards just simply haven't been good enough today. As Pedersen was dominant there in the ruck. Oh my God, what a bump! Oh no! Got absolutely pushed down to the ground and almost got put 6 foot under by a Tooradin defender there. My goodness! So Oxley, I think he even has to regain his breath after that breathtaking bump. And now right, it was almost going to get the hands. And it's going to be holding the ball against Tooradin. So seesawing action here in this third quarter. No one's really got the momentum. Of course, Phillip Island have had more chances to score, but they just can't actually hit on the scoreboard, and Ship almost took a really good mark. So dishes off by hand McKenna. Oxley was right next to the boundary line, and he'll go over for another stoppage. So Tamata.
Taken by the legs there was Adam Oxley.
Or was he? I didn't say that. Tamata in the ruck pushes the forward, and that is a free kick every day of the week, going in the favour of Brad Butler.
They just have to show some poise here, the Bulldogs. Their inside 50 entries have been their problem. Problematic at least as Brewer. Lucky Suarez wasn't tripped on there.
I was going to say, I thought Suarez could have earned a free kick there.
In the end, it is the Bulldogs again. Whistle blows. So we hear the umpire's explanation. So he'll have to retake his kick, Kyle McKenzie. Phillip Island since 2017. 49 goals to his name over his career that has spanned across 11 years. 3 with Knox, 4 with Alberton. So they can advance deep into attack. And that time he doesn't transgress. But once again, the defence held up.
So Lenders is able to compose himself within a pack and took a really clean mark. Wilson boots it inside 50. It's picked off by the defence once again. This time, Jesse Patullo. So a lot of intercepting marks from the back line of Phillip Island. So that's been one positive for this game. Smothered kick. Wilson again finds Palberg, who can just relax this Tooradin offense a little bit and tell the lads to calm down. Finds Wilson again, who was a 2021 Team of the Year member. Had a good season.
Seems to be a lot of uncertainty for the Bulldogs and miscommunication with ball movement and manning up.
So ball just continuing to push inside 50 before it goes over.
Yeah, so if you saw in that previous entry, there was just the one Bulldog flying, and there was about 4 surrounding him. So, as I said, a lot of uncertainty, a few mismatches, but they just want the footy more, do the Seagulls, and they might want another goal here. Well, they definitely do. It's just whether their plans can be fulfilled. The defence, though, able to skedaddle. They'll hand pass through the centre of the ground. And they do, interchanging through hands. Pedersen, this time a one-on-one. Tamata over his head. So Brown has to run onto it, but he'll have to get through the substantial obstacle of Butler first. And that is a great tackle, and they might get a good look at goal now. And they do.
It was a really good grab of Cooper Ship there by Jack Taylor.
Yeah, so Jack Taylor once again.
That's the intensity they've needed all game. Cooper Ship was trying to be classy, and he is a classy player, but maybe a bit too clever there. And he was trying to evade it. At the end of the day, Jack Taylor read it really well.
Well, the margin's still 52, but Taylor has just given it his all. Not an easy angle. It's swinging towards goal. Stays in play. Finally over the tightrope.
So, once again, another behinds. They've scored 11 of them. Have the Bulldogs. Oxley finds a short option there. And then barely went for a run up there and found Blake grew up, who centers the footy. Oh, he almost went for a massive grab there. That is 100% an unrealistic take, Matthew Jones. So they push it further along the wing. Long sleeves. Oh, that's got to be front on contact, and it will be. So free kick going the way of Brady Egan, who's gone a little bit quiet in this third term, but doesn't take away from a terrific first half that he had. So inside 50, they really need a mark here, Tooradin. The Bulldogs' backline has been controlling their 50 for this past 25 or so minutes. The Bulldogs' backline ends up victors again, apart from a really poor kick there. That's not going to be 15, or maybe it was touched.
Yeah, can't be long left. Over 26 minutes now into the third quarter, and they have not really reduced this margin. It's still 51 points. And Tooradin can still kick a goal. McCaffer whittling through. Left without the footy, and now he falls out the ground, and he'll attempt to clamber out of there. But you can hear the siren, and it's still a 51-point margin in favour of the Seagulls. Relentless pressure and goals, really. And we'll see what Phillip Island can muster in this last quarter. But the top of the table clash, it is Tooradin by 51 points. We'll be right back with you in the Fair Homes game of the round.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. I'm going all the way up. I'm letting go in my heart of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the roof. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community that likes to work hard, digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. I'm going all the way up. I'm letting go in my heart of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the roof. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's
This is a story of a community. A community that likes to work hard. Digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm going all the way up. Ah, I'm letting go in my heart. Ah, of everything that holds me down. No, no. And it's feeling like I'm in the groove. I can feel the love. Oh yeah, it's all around me.
Winterland, whisper in my ear, make my troubles all disappear.
This is a story of a community. A community that likes to work hard. Digging, fixing, building, keeping people safe, or just lending a hand. A community that all have one place to come together, where they're spoilt for choice and good service is everything. And although there are stores all over Australia, the owners are as local as they come. Totally Workwear, clothing your hard-working community.
Welcome back to the Fairhaven Homes match of the round. Fourth quarter nearly underway. But we know how Phillip Island can be combustible, and if they do catch fire, they could potentially string a few together. So the green light. There's the siren. 51 points. That is the challenge. 11-8 to 2-11. And in the ruck, right. Knocks it down and collects it again. Halted for a fraction of a second. Was Livermore. This play resumes. It splatters out the back. Hand pass across. And now here is Liam Adams. Pinpoint for Trezise, just couldn't garner it. And now does, slaps it along the ground. An open shot at goal. It'll have to bend back. Not enough.
So, minus score for Tooradin. Weren't able to hit the scoreboard much at all in the previous quarter. It was some really good defence by Phillip Islands. It was more so just their forward line who couldn't finish the job for the side. It's a centering ball right. He's been in front all day. On that occasion, he couldn't take it, however. So a little stab kick. Oh, it's intercepted nicely. So continuing on from that theme in the third quarter. So kicks it along the wing and turns it over Ben Taylor. The early debuted seniors in April, so still learning the ropes of the games, you'd say. As almost went back and grabbed that one was Brad Butler. So Phillip Islands just trying to find any open player, but there's a lot of green and red swarming. I can't see much white. Butler. Hands off. Could be holding. He held on for a little while there, and however, there'll be a tackle. Brady Egan. Though they've almost certainly got a win here, Tooradin. Dalmore still going in just as hard. So, Tomato wasn't contested at all in the ruck. Another throw up.
Yep, right on the boulevard of 50.
Certainly is. So, Tomato and Butler. Tomato probably has the height advantage on him, but oh my God, right, goes through like a bull. He sprayed it left, but oh my God, he absolutely hit-sticked him.
He pulverised him almost high as well, but the umpire couldn't have called that, not at the home ground at least. And if he did, kick a goal there, Pever Wright. Would have been unequivocally the goal of the day, sponsored by our King Trade Comfort Max. So again, Griffin from fullback, considering all offers. Just delayed the give and then released out to the wing. Pedersen has the sit, and that is a strong contested mark. Had McCaffer on him, so AFL pedigree. That kick, well, that certainly wasn't AFL pedigree. McKenna. Now to the wing, Butler sprinting away. Livermore wheels around. Perfect kick. Oxley just held up play for a minute. Grewer there, Trezise as well. And now there's a few players in the mix in the 50. Trezise the avenue in. Grewer marks, plays on, kicks towards goal. And he came up a little skinny. 11-11 to 2-11. They lead by 9 straight goals. Only 9 more scoring shots. But that is the importance of kicking straight as Griffin. Out to the wing. And Egan, inventive kick on the left. To full forward. And we'll see what the defence can do. Makeshift hand pass. Right, back out to the wing.
So, out on the wing. On the broadcast side, so that's Matthew Livermore that had it. He found Oxley, so they now sit there in the middle. Looking to centre it, but they might go across the wing. It was the only available option in the end. They might go right back to Livermore in the middle again. So Tooradin just taking their time as they can do. They've got such a large lead. McKenna was a bit short, that kick. Suarez was looking to get the footy. He might be able to crumb it, not quite. Footy spills out to a Bulldogs defender. Suarez is able to get it out of the pack somehow. And it goes.
The post, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it did hit the post. Suarez was really close there, but not quite.
So it's Daniel Pearce. This time at fullback. Rather than Mark Griffin. So Pearce. Take a bounce. Trezise right on his tail. The 1-2 with a teammate who will distribute out wide. Somehow bounced obligingly for a teammate, and then the midfielder had his head ripped off. But they continue. Now plenty of white jumpers around this. Inside 50, and Pedersen has a chance to line up for his second, and it was a lovely delivery from Tomato. Definitely not beyond him, Cam Pedersen. Has the ability to kick 50.
Certainly not out of his range, but it's been a problem for the Dogs all day. Just haven't been able to get accuracy into their kicks.
So Cam Pedersen. Casual approach. And it's a goal. What can that do? 6 minutes in, a 49-point lead. 11-12 to 3-11 on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard.
So they're starting to reduce it a little bit. It's looking less and less worse than it was in the first half, but your 40 or so point lead, that is still not a pretty sight for the Bulldogs, who were probably the premiership fancies going in today, but my pick would definitely be Tooradin if they continue to play like this against the top sides. So just trying to bull his way through was Kimber. A free kick will be paid in the way of Tooradin, however.
Yeah, might have been a throw there.
Yeah. Oxley. Long high kick inside 50. That's a massive boosted the ball. Pierce finds a teammate. Was almost picked off there by the Tooradin defender. So now lies with Jamie Yule. And probably a poor choice in the end, but can they get chase to the footy? Kai McKenzie just trying to run for it. Oh, that's got to be a free kick. High. Fell right over him.
Lewis Hill.
So McKenzie, with the mud on his jersey, try to find an open teammate, but once again, they've read the ball better than the Seagulls, and Brad Butler, one leg up, is able to take the mark. Dishes off by hands, was looking for Brady Egan. And ball was tried to be ripped out by a teammate.
Yep.
However, it'll be a throw up.
8 minutes in. They're just alleviating the pain at the moment, the Bulldogs. 1 goal on the board. Maybe a couple of others. Free kick going the way of Phillip Island. No, it's not. He's reversed it. Brad Butler will have the shot. It's right on 50. Some shifting up forward. He has Liam Adams in the pocket. But he said, I'll take it, thanks. Fair bit of purchase on it. But he's missed. And a 50-point lead now.
So
11-13 to 3-11.
this game's just gone a bit stale at the moment, hasn't it, Dylan?
Yeah, it has. We need Phillip Island to show that intent again.
So kick out towards the wing. He's able to lean back in and grab a good, strong mark. Jesse Patullo. So it's going to tumble throughout the 50. Or sorry, the centre square, I should say. Oxley. He's played so well today. Oh, and threads the needle. What a drop punt. Finds Stuart Scanlon all alone, but I think the drop punt and that what could be a goal assist was perhaps even more impressive. I reckon he went through about 4 different players there and he found the open Stuart Scanlon.
Yeah. Guess who?
I think he's going for number 6 today, Dill.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
So
Either way, he's leading it.
Scanlon
6.
going for number 6. It's been confirmed. That's not a bad boot of the ball whatsoever. Number 6 for Stuart Scanlon, and he has almost gained, well, not almost, it's almost a certainty, rather, that he has gained this 3 votes today.
And they've just been unable to negate his presence, haven't they?
And
Kicked 3 in the first half, 3 in the second half now.
An outstanding performance. And he's just been lurking all game, always been open. So it's more just for pride now. The Bulldogs, they'll remain second on the ladder, but they'll probably lose a fair bit of percentage. Whereas Tooradin will gain, further creating the gap between them and second. So Wilson was trying to push it out, but was tackled well.
Nearly 11 minutes in. Big leap from Butler. In the bullpen now. Hand pass out. And Lenders couldn't escape. Up again. Pedersen. About 20 metres on that hand pass. But Parlberg, as he has been all day, just composed and disciplined in defence. Livermore, hand pass across. McKenna, they'll chain it up again. Look at this ball movement. You'd think it would be an AFL team. 2-on-2 up forward, out the back. It's going to be a contested footy, paddled in front of himself. Plenty of space for Scanlon. He's got 7. 7th heaven for Stewart. 62 points they lead it by. And he is a colossus.
Tasmania for the 19th AFL licence. Give it a Tooradin.
Well, 13-13 to 3-11 on the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard. And we spoke about suppressing the flow. Well, they've done the complete opposite in the last few minutes. Pedersen just tripped over himself. That ball just bobbling around. Finally. Adams, that kick a little indiscriminate. It bounces. And look at the numbers again for Tooradin. They had Oxley, they had Ship. Even Lenders putting a hand in there. They're just getting to contests and converging on any opponent that comes their way.
So, we're about halfway through this quarter now. Not a lot of time left in a contest that has been pretty much one-sided. Wright almost got to the footy, but was held back nicely by a defender from the Phillip Island side. Free kick. Sorry, a mark was taken by Oxley, who, if Stuart Scanlon wasn't around, I'd be giving my 3 votes to Adam Oxley, but 7 goals is pretty hard to go past. On the wing, finds an open man in James Trezise. Trezise, I should say. I don't know where I got Trenzy from. Pulled that one out the hat. So Oxley, once again, he's able to grab it. So slow, methodical football here for Tooradin, but it's working nicely. Just scanning around for options. He could have gone McKenna there, who was open. Instead, he'll go backwards. And they go forward again. So play just stagnating here. And then, wow, that injected a bit of speed into the side. So footy really getting exciting. 0 to 100 real quick. On a tough angle there. Trying to center it. Wilson nearly got a grab there, but they could soccer it here. They won't in the end. And that was not trying to disguise it at all.
No.
Just pushed it over the line.
On a 50-metre penalty.
And I think Tooradin were trying to argue there that it was deliberate there from Daniel Pearce, which it definitely was, but he was under pressure. So,
yep. So Griffin through the middle, chopped off by Brewer.
And if there is a play to summarise today for the Bulldogs, that's it.
Yeah, and transition can begin in the centre of the ground, just pacing forward. Oxley should hurl this inside 50. He'll take a moment. He'll scout all alternatives. What's the final decision? It is that. A little wider. Trezise enters the scene. Didn't quite take the footy. And Jones now at centre half back. A little closer to full back. Called to go, so he hooks the kick. Now to right half back. And now play on. Down to the wing. Maybe even beyond. A one-on-one. Pedersen. Taken over the line. 63 points. Nearly 16 minutes in. Just near half forward for Phillip Island. Suarez. Using his body. McCaffer. That time the non-customary left foot. One-on-one. And now numbers should multiply around the footy. Umpire says play on. And there is the whistle for a ball up on the wing. Opposite to the broadcast side.
And another surprise to throw into the mix there. It was already been a surprising game in the fact that Tooradin have completely dominated Phillip Island, but there's still no real rain to affect this game yet.
No, not yet. Maybe it would have helped the scoring at least in terms of Phillip Island, because 92 for Tooradin and they're menacing. They can definitely reach 100. Oxley. High ball forward. Now they can progress past this barricade that hasn't really been holding up all day, but a throw in will commence first.
So the score stands as 92 to to 30 in the favour of Tooradin. An umpire quickly claims that the ball is his. Ready for a ball up. So Pedersen is able to get the hit out in the end. Ball spills out, goes backwards, and it actually goes in advantage to Phillip Island, however. It was a great grab by McKenna. Is that going to be 50?
Yep. Sure is.
Oh, it actually won't be a 50.
Oh, I thought the umpire signalled.
Oh, and he's ran through nicely there. That was Dylan Parlberg. So across to the wing, Brady Egan cuts it back inside into the centre. Almost went the handball there, but decided he'll kick it instead. So inside 50, almost took a good mark there. That was Brad Butler once again, who's been dangerous down forward. Oh. So ball goes along to the wing, but they've got 4 versus 2 in the favour of Tooradin. McCaffer, sorry. Let the ball slip out of his hands, and umpire says mine after Ben Taylor couldn't get it out. So Suarez, he's doing some of the ruck work now against Pedersen. And Suarez, he's usually down forward, so McCaffer, little stab kick, cut off by a Bulldog, who kicked it along to the wing. So Taylor, who's been good in this quarter, goes further along the wing, just trying to tap it to teammates here. But they're getting really pressured here by Tooradin, and they eventually get out. But not before the ball just tripped up on a player. And now McKenna goes through the middle. Kicks it towards centre half forward. Butler tried to dish it off by hands, and our right's got an open lane. Can he boot it? Umpire didn't even move. Looked straight above for 6. So Pever Wright, who's been excellent today in the ruck and down forward, hasn't had many faults. He's trucked opponents, he's kicked goals, he's had a couple hit-outs in the ruck. He has played a nice game as well, the former Tiger.
What a strike it was. As you mentioned, the former Tiger, and you can see why. As he just stretches his legs. Would have tested the hamstrings there. And another ball up. Pedersen down to McCaffer. So some ex-rivalry players going at it. And now they can move it quickly. A shot at goal. It was quickly blocked off. So he'll just digress over to Pedersen, who's 50 out.
You reckon he's got this still?
I would have said yes, but instead he chips short to Matthew Jones.
Who would you give your 3 votes to for Phillip Island today?
For Phillip Island?
Yep.
Well,
I'd go Pedersen, you reckon?
I'll come back to it after this shot at goal by Matthew Jones. It's a flat kick, and it doesn't have the distance. McKenna on the goal line. And just while I think quickly, I'll let you take over.
So, McKenna found an open man. They once again used the corridor. And no one could get the mark in the end, so it's just going to end up in a 1v1. It was a good contest there. Pedersen, the big ruckman, goes down. And then it was Zach Wagner evading traffic. Good grab by Cameron Brown. He's going to go back. He won't have the legs here, so he'll probably look for a teammate, or maybe he backs himself here.
Yeah, just on your question before, I'd say Jack Taylor would be the leader.
Jack Taylor, he has played a good game down back. He's been courageous, so Cameron Brown, he knows these grounds well. It's hooking back, and I reckon that's got it. Not quite. It's touched on the line.
Yeah, Mark Griffin as well. Although they've conceded 14 goals, he can hold his head high.
It was a bit like Miller for Kui Rupp last week when Fermanis kicked a bag on him, but he still played a very good game.
Absolutely. It's been a gloomy day for the Bulldogs. Nearly 22 minutes in and a 68-point lead. Umpire just lets it roll. Hand pass across, and momentarily stunned was Officer.
I reckon that's the first time I've heard his name today. Alex Officer.
There was one other time. But apart from that, not too much of an impact as they all just plough into each other. And a free kick has been spotted out for Tooradin at half back. Now to the wing. It was allocated to their forward. It leaked out the back. Now a 2v1 as they all are pressed in defence or offence, whichever way you look at it. But now the Bulldogs can find a way out. And we'll have a throw in on centre wing.
So, it's been a dark day for the Dogs today as their premiership hopes take a big blow. They're still right in this race, however, and you'd be a fool to count them out, but Tooradin really proved who is the better side so far in this game today, and he stretches out Dylan Pahlberg. Oh my God, and the umpire's taken a tumble. Oh no! And falling over was Brady
right.
Egan. He's not getting up either. That's not great.
Okay, we do need some medical attention for him. Late in the game too. So some kind words or service from Adam Oxley.
That's unfortunate. Players getting injured is one thing, but umpires, that's. I don't think I've ever seen an umpire get injured.
Especially because they're blindsided to what's behind them, as you know, when they're jogging back. As play in the meantime continues, and it's a goal. I was too busy looking at the umpire, and the goal has been kicked, and now they have broken the 100 barrier.
And that was Egan on that one, I think. And umpire still yet to stand, which...
We're a little concerned just because he hasn't bounced back up on his feet, but...
Oh, he's getting up now.
Yeah, it won't stop play. There we go. Good to see him back up on his feet. Hopefully re-energised as the Seagulls are today. And they'll advance again. Scanlon probably too far out to score. Into the hot spot. Livermore wasn't 15. Play on, so he turns on the left. A one-on-one. Now they can just make their way out of there. 3-on-1. Look at these numbers and look at the immense pressure. And as a reward, they've been given a free kick.
I reckon Trent Adams solved that a bit. He grabbed the head and he was paid it instantly.
So Trent Adams into the leading lanes. Trezise, Pedersen was there. Trezise again included in the play. Ball up. 20 metres out from their goal.
So, can they make it any worse, Tooradin? It's already pretty bad. And not on this occasion as... Oh, hang on. Maybe I've called that a bit early. Trent Adams. Oh, that's a good tackle. No incorrect disposal, though. Went for the kick and dropped it. I thought that would have been a free kick, but... You know, I'm not an umpire, so... Maybe I should just stick to calling. And here's Scanlon again. Looking for a goal assist now. There's Livermore. Took a clean grab. He's directly out in front and he might back himself here, and I think he does. So, umpire tells him to move it on. Livermore runs forward. Is he going to get that? Not quite. But they've got other plays here in Pahlberg. Couldn't get it in the end. Pedersen.
Pahlberg deserved a goal there.
He certainly did, and that was high there. Got head contact. Ball moving forward. Batalo. Ball moving really quickly. Actually, Kimber was at the end of it. He was able to kick it towards 50. And then they can kick on the right, and that's going to drift off to the left. And I don't think that went through for a behind. Might have gone out in the full.
Yep.
Jamie Ewell, the captain.
Probably typifies their day. 15-14 to 3-12, nearly 27 minutes in. On the Totally Workwear Pakenham scoreboard, Oxley. Not long left to the wing, but it'll come back on its way. To the forward pockets. Some miscommunication between Seagulls there, the Bulldogs. Well, they only had one member fighting for the football. And Parlberg again. And now the race is on in pursuit. They go 2-on-1. And coming out with the footy. And was it a free kick? No, it's a ball up. Did well, Scanlon. Have to be on high alert when Scanlon's around. Out the back hatch. And holding the ball. Maybe a controversial decision there, but it will be in the way of Pedersen. Just seeds it out in the path of a teammate. Tooradin, they'll go Livermore over one way, just rode out the tackle. But there is the siren. And the prestigious party will prevail in Tooradin. 74 points is the final result. And an unexpected result. No one would have seen what was coming today. If you looked at the scoreboard before the game, you would be in disbelief. What a performance it was, Bailey Allen. Just an all-around team effort. We'll get to the votes soon as the music begins to play and the team song comes on. Welcome to the post-game show, sponsored by Fused by King G. 74-point winners are the Tooradin Dalmore Seagulls over the Phillip Island Bulldogs in a top-of-the-table clash. Here alongside Bailey Allen, who is in disbelief as well. 15 goals to 3. Only 14 more scoring shots, but a 74-point lead. And that is because they were more accurate than Phillip Island to kick 3 goals, 12 on the day. We'll get to the mark and the goal of the day in a minute, but I just want your thoughts.
And it was just, if they played a bit of a better first half, Phillip Islands, they might have been in it. If they played just how they were going in the second half, they certainly could have been in that contest, but just they couldn't get clean hands to the footy and turned the ball over all day and were really inaccurate in front of goal as well. So they just missed a lot of opportunities, and that was really what this game was, a game of opportunities. And unfortunately for the Bulldogs, Tooradin were the ones to just take it more.
Now to the Fused by King G mark of the day. Plenty to choose from. James Trezise, Brady Egan. There was even a contender from Jason Tamata. I'm leaning towards James Trezise, only because I know how engrossed you were in the call of Brady Egan's.
Oh, yeah, Brady Egan, he almost leaped over that man on the mark. I can't even remember who it was. It might have been Zach Wagner, and it was in the end. It was number 17 for the Bulldogs, who is Wagner. But hey, just leapfrogged over his defender and absolutely took a hanger. So that takes the chockies for me today.
And to the King G Trade Comfort Max goal of the day, multiple contenders, but from one man who I would say deserves the goal of the day, Stuart Scanlon.
Yeah, Stuart Scanlon, well, he had 7 of them to choose from, so yeah, he put on a great performance today, but yeah, Stewie Scanlon would probably be my pick as well.
Now, this is what we've been waiting for, and I'd say it would be all Tooradin. Brody Allen, who were your votes for today?
Go vote 1. You're looking at Piver Wright, I would say. He was really dominant down forward and in the ruck, so I'd go him for 1 vote. 2 votes, I'm going to go Adam Oxley, the former Collingwood member. He played so well off in the back line. He was intercepting. He had a ton of disposals as well and just played an outstanding game. But unfortunately for him, he does not get the 3 votes in my eyes because Stuart Scanlon was just class today. 7 goals he kicked and was even able to get a fair amount of the footy as well. So I really liked his game down in the forward pocket. He was just a flawless game from Scanlon. So he'd get my 3 votes.
Well, there would definitely be a few players who are unlucky not to be involved in mine. I've given 1 vote for Dylan Pahlberg, a prolific part of their defence, similar to Adam Oxley, but Dylan Pahlberg obviously a little less recognisable with Adam Oxley's reputation of the AFL. But
And the bleached hair.
Yeah, exactly right. But I thought he was extraordinary today. 2 votes, I've gone with Brady Egan, not only because of the mark of the day, he kicked a couple and he chipped in wherever he could, but then 3 votes, without a doubt. Stuart Scanlon finished with seven goals and a few behinds, so he could have had 8, 9 or even 10, which we saw with Mason McGarity a few weeks ago. But what an overall complete performance it was. Tooradin by 74 points over Phillip Island, and then next week we will be over at Daleston in the clash against Garfield. Might not seem great on paper, but hold on. Sean Burgoyne is playing. He was drafted in the AFL Carlton draft, and I am extremely excited to have, or just be calling him, not only that, but we might be able to speak to him beforehand, and we'll see if that can lift them up for a win.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having a quick chat with Sean Burgoyne, 400 game AFL player. He's
Superstar.
Up there with the likes of Dustin Fletcher and Boomer Harvey and all them. Maybe not as good as Dustin Fletcher. I'm a biased Bombers man, but...
Well, we will see you then. Thanks for tuning in. The top of the table clash. A 74-point win. Once again, I can't say it enough. But they will be 9-0 Tooradin. The first loss for Phillip Island. We'll see how they can bounce back next week. But we'll see you at Daleston. Again, thanks for tuning in. Take it easy.